Hey, you're late.
Hey, what's up, man?
Damn, dude. Grenade golf in your face?
Yeah, you got jokes. You funny.
Yeah, I saw what happened.
I don't understand it, man. It's like I was punching a wall or punching like a soda machine or something. It was.
Well, he's twice your size. What do you expect?
Yeah, but twice my size. Come on, it's not like it's muscle or anything, you know?
Ah, I like your necklace.
Yeah.
So, now that you've had your break time, you think you're actually gonna get this done today, or should I actually get a real man to stand in here and get this done? Why don't you go ahead and hurry this on up?
I'm sure I'll get it here.
Hope so.
You see what you made me do?
Look at that. Butterfingers. Might want to pick that up.
You're such a jerk.
Totally don't feel bad about it either.
Mike, grab me a magnet, bro.
Yeah. What? You want another black eye? Tool's down there.
Here, bro. Do you have anything better to do?
Yeah, actually, I gotta get to calling some customers back. So why don't you make me proud, all right? Good job, Hunter.
Did you see that?
What, the magnet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Dude, it's stuck to him.
Don't stick to our hands.
What's up with that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know. Let's get this thing up in the air, though.
I'm gonna go visit the Louvre.
Dude, he's a fucking robot. Dude, he is a robot. You got beat by a robot. Dude, we gotta unplug him.
thing is seriously gonna kill us.
Dude, we gotta go out the front door, man.
Dude, how are we gonna get past that thing?
Go on without me, man. You have kids.
Oh, good deals.
Send him.
And here you thought this was just a sexy model shoot.
Oh, it is a sexy model shoot.
It is. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the vlog. We have something absolutely amazing for you guys. We are so super pumped for this one because we have the best of the best for you.
Would you say we're super Trofeo pumped?
I would say it's limited edition, super Trofeo, like Gucci.
Collector's item?
Woo! Can we take it out? Can we take it out? Can we take it out? Can we take it out?
I don't think we need to clickbait our friends.
Woo! Yeah, we don't clickbait. We're gonna get right into it because this is just super exciting.
I've always wanted to do this with a car too, by the way. Haven't you always wanted to just be on that runway? Super slow-mo. Hey, let's do it slow-mo.
That sounds like a beach whale.
That was terrible. We have to turn the audio on that.
Ugh.
Oh, wait. We almost snagged the meat tape.
Yeah.
Here, let me hold. You address the fan.
Oh, guys. 2019 Lamborghini Super Trofeo Roger Dubois, if I'm correct on that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at this. All right, so now that you've seen that, let's actually go over a little bit more in depth of the exterior of this vehicle before we get her undressed. First off, we might as well start the front. Of course, in any proper race car, the start of everything is with carbon fiber. How can you not? So of course, carbon fiber diffuser.
Is that a diffuser? May I? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a carbon fiber splitter. Along with the carbon fiber splitter, we have carbon fiber
Dive plane, canards,
Are you gonna call
whatever
it?
you want to
I like to call it a dive plane, but this is not a submarine.
Dive. That sounds kind of like
Submarine
something's going down.
Yeah,
Canard just sounds kind of more like race car technology.
No, dive plane sounds like the
Dive!
stuff. Yeah. So what we have is a full carbon fiber race car from this end all the way out to the back end. Nothing This thing is dripping carbon fiber.
I love it.
Me too.
It makes me like super excited in places I didn't know was possible.
Take our friends down the side if you would.
Okay.
Because the fender is a work of art.
The fender is a work of art. Now, this is a little bit different compared to the GT3. It is a little bit smaller, although it is the same. Carbon fiber vents, which, if you end up knowing what this is for, we'll tell you. The reason why these are actually louvered on the top is to actually let air through it and actually reduce the drag. Fun fact, Lexan, glass, Lexan, carbon fiber. So on a street car, obviously you have all the glass. On a race car, all the glass, except for the front quarter glasses, is removed. This is the only stock piece of glass that is on the car. Even the one that's in the rear of the car is removed and is put in a carbon fiber kind of blast plate or solid piece, if you will. Another cool thing, which I just saw this in walking around, which you can appreciate, Mark will give you another fun fact, but here, come closer. So if you actually look at the fittings on here, you have the Lambo part number, but you also have a little tiny Lamborghini Bull, which is kind of cool. The wheels that are on this are wheels that came when it's delivered, okay? Something to notice about this wheel, okay? So this is what it got delivered on, okay? The tires that are on here are actually the rain tires. If you notice, this kind of looks like a normal radial street tire. However, this is the rain slick for the car. The regular tire that comes with it for the slick obviously is solid all the way across. Other fun fact, this front tire, the size of it, is what a stock Huracan runs in the rear. So this is a 305 tire, or the equivalent of a 305 on the front of it, which is what a stock Huracan runs in the rear.
This is all I managed to get, because I don't know anything. Is that even on the rotor, if you can see that, you can see down in there, you can actually see the shield, the Lamborghini shield. It looks very similar to this one here, there.
All right, so like we were saying with the glass, obviously this is the only stock piece of glass. Go to the Lexan, which you have the nice little sliders, which this slides back and forth, gives you a little bit of ventilation into the car. And then the back is actually louvered, so that way whatever you do get from the blower, from the electric blower inside or here, it allows hot air to come back out.
I'm waiting for the engine bonnet to come off.
Man, that's gonna be the best part.
It's me, baby.
Ooh.
Tag me in. Ready.
Right here, you have one on this side and on the other side, which are for your quick fuel Chinggis 9000. Okay, that is a technical term. But this is where those big jugs that they have that you see when they go on the side and just BAM! Go in. This is what allows that fuel to just rush right in and fill the car up super quick when you're racing.
I love that new cars now have stuff like that. Like no more gas caps on the top of the gas pump when you drive off and go, oh, Mono's Arriba, I lost my gas cap.
Well, you definitely don't have to worry about losing the gas cap on this one.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, we do have to mention the awesome air scoop.
I was saving that for the end.
So even though this is still a regular Super Trofeo, this edition actually comes with the Evo air scoop on it, which on the regular race cars that they have, the Evolution comes standard with the scoop. This one, however, comes with an extra 10 horsepower compared to the regular Super Trofeo. So this is 630 horsepower, whereas the regular Super Trofeo has 620. Moving on to the back, some cool stuff on here. This is your air jack fitting. So this is where you'll put the wand in, and the air jacks that will lift the car up to change tires, work on it, all happens right there. You'll slam that wand on, and this will basically get pushed in like this, and this will actually keep the car up in its position. When it goes into the normal mode when you go to race, same thing when you pull the wand, you'll pull this out as you're pulling out, and that's when the whole car slams down on the ground, and off you go. The exhaust on this is actually is a Capristo, which is who manufactures all the stock OEM exhaust systems, so it was only appropriate that they made the one for the race car as well. This still has stock catalytic converters in it, so this is still a emission compliant car. So even though it's a race car and the exhaust is different on it, it just doesn't have the big giant muffler that the stock cars come with because of sound compliance. This still has a resonator built into it, so depending on the track, it can still meet those requirements. It just obviously flows a lot better than those big suitcases, and of course because of the weight. This right here is the rear toe strap. So if you get kind of in a pickle, which hopefully you don't ever have to use that.
If our camera can get into here, you can actually see the rear jack. We'll show you the front one when we get inside. Should we pull the bonnet?
I think we should.
All right, let's pull the bonnet. All right, you guys, what we have here is Lamborghini's 5.2 liter V10. As Mitch was saying earlier, this one's actually tuned to run 630 horsepower over the 620 race car, which is 10 over the 610 you would get in a street car.
Mm-hmm.
So
the engine management system is different on this car compared to the stock car. So all the pretty much electronics, this thing is gutted. So all the extra harnesses, backup cameras, all the stock car amenities are all gone. So this car runs a full Motec system, which basically just has all the wires to the sensors and to the appropriate things that it needs, which is then run by another little dash panel, which we'll show you as well. But none of the stock wiring is in this car. So everything is all aftermarket. Since the intake is different on this and on the race cars, these don't run a MAF, they run a MAP, which there's 2 of them now on this car, which a stock Huracan doesn't run that.
it actually runs 2 manifold pressure sensors that they literally, if you come over here, you can actually see they just tack them right into the side of the intake manifold. That's not where they go, but that's where they go on the race car. And then who doesn't love BMC's absolutely stunning intake? Everything I own is going to have something like this on top of it. I'm going to put one of these on my TV.
As it should. So the fuel system for these cars are quite different. The tanks are configured a lot differently. A stock Huracan tank, not only one is not carbon fiber as far as the structure around it, but it's also not this shape. As you can see, this is part of the wiring, how it's all different. So as you can see, it doesn't have any of the nice stock, you know, the stock covers, all that. It is all pretty much exposed, easy to work on. Right here where it's normally capped, the stock street car runs a set of basically a low pressure injector and then a high pressure injector, where this only just runs a high pressure on it. The low pressure injectors on a stock Huracan are basically to help clean the valves, improve kind of the drivability of the car, where this car is just meant for one thing, and that is going fast.
Even the whole fuel crossover right here, this tube right here is completely different than a stock Huracan. We don't even see this. It goes down underneath the car above the drive shaft that this car doesn't have. This car is actually 2WD and not AWD or 4WD.
The bracing is different. So this is another stock piece. So this crossover bar is the same as a stock, which basically is a lateral brace. So this still stays the same as a stock car. This is what I was telling you is different. So this is where normally the stock window would be. This is actually a cutout, so that way the roll cage that ties into this runs through this and into the car and ties into the cage point, which is right here. This is removable, so that way if you have to work on the car, do something, then a lot of these pieces can come apart, but it still adds that extra stability.
Can you see in here? See all the tamper-proof fittings that they put on these things? So in order to keep you out of basically a spec series race car, they don't want you messing with anything. When the bolt was put in, it then had this, let's call it JB weld or something that was poured down in there, and all of the engine's covers have these things on here so that they know that you've tampered with the motor, have gone into the motor for any reason.
These are unregulated, whereas a GT3 actually has restrictors in it, and they actually take the horsepower down. So you have a car that essentially has more aero but less horsepower, where this has more horsepower, a little bit less on the aero.
Should we blow the doors?
I don't know if they're ready for that.
Everybody needs to see inside of this race car.
This owner bought this car and a couple other ones. He has an amazing collection. If you go on his Instagram, it's actually Terminal 8. Has a GT3 car, has this, has an insane collection of manual 6-speed Mercedes, as well as all kinds of cool toys. So you'll definitely have to check that out. In here we got the passenger seat. So this is the fire extinguisher, basically the tank that's right in here. Okay. We got a battery that sits up in the front. This is what Mark was talking about, the other air jack that's for the front of the car. You have one on either side. Car's computer, which is, like we were saying, was all run by Motec. So all the different control modules and everything are all in here. Pretty accessible for when you need to work on it. The cool thing about the high-end race cars is that the dashes are wrapped in Alcantara suede. I mean, if that doesn't just say, hey, this is Gucci and we're here to party and look good while doing it, I don't know what does.
As you can see, the full roll cage on this thing is the business. Headbanger pads up here, headbanger pads over here. These things actually, although what you guys might be thinking at home is that this is a really soft foam, and I promise you it's just on the verge of plastic. It is super stiff, super rough to, if you bang your head on that, you're gonna feel it the next day.
So here's our big red button that if you are in a, you know, oh damn, shit just went down scenario, this is what you'll end up pushing, and then you have not only an extinguisher system that runs inside the car, but it also runs inside the engine compartment and a few other choice areas to make sure that, you know, whatever does happen, it can hopefully extinguish not only quick enough, but at least enough to get you safely out of the car.
Yeah, most safety systems like this for these kinds of cars are not designed to put the fire out. They're designed to give you, the driver, enough time to get out of the vehicle, let the safety crew put the fire out, or just stand around and watch it burn to the ground. This sensor is the yaw sensor. The car actually does have traction control, which we'll get to that on the steering wheel. But this is the yaw sensor. So this is the tail of your airplane, if you will, as you're flying through the air. Doesn't necessarily mean that the tail of the plane is lined up right in front of the cockpit, and that's what we would call yaw. In aeromotive terms, yaw.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's one thing to be going straight, but you don't necessarily have to be going straight to be going straight. So as your tail moves out from behind, that's yaw. But this is actually located in the center of the vehicle, as you guys can see, or just kind of get the gist of it from where it is from the front to the back of the car. This actually measures the yaw of the car to help the traction control make decisions on keeping the car on the track.
This is pretty cool. So if you look on the inside, the actual belts itself, which are all OMP, actually says Super Trofeo across the top, has a nice little Lamborghini embroidered into the top. So yeah, this is how it looks together. 6-point race harness.
I'm over here hoarding.
Don't you do it.
The arts. So what we'll do is we'll pop it off for the fans at home to see. I think this is what everybody has come to see. You want to go over the buttons?
I shall.
I'll point.
You point.
Can I be the model?
You can. You do such a great job of it.
What do I do with the orange button?
This one is a radio, in case people can't.
Wait a minute. Like I can listen to the radio?
Yeah, you can change your presets, and you know, depending on what you want to jam to.
Does this have different Bluetooth?
Stations. No Bluetooth. It's just preset like techno. Just write it out.
Nobody listens to techno.
I listen to techno, but
anyway, this is the radio to get you back to your car engineer in the pits. What about the green one?
You can communicate. Now this is a pass. This is kind of the if you are too fast for everybody else mode. Yeah, right here. Okay. This button will get pushed a lot. What this will do is actually take the headlights and flash them. Oh, flash the pass.
Autobahn button.
I know. Oh, amazing.
What about this one?
So this one is actually used in conjunction when you go to shift. So when you want to actually shift the car, for example, you'll actually hold it down and actually click the paddle in what you want to do in order to be able to get you in the selected gear. Once you first start going with it. After that, then you're just hitting the paddles once you start going, which is your up paddle and your down paddle. Obviously this function is for the wiper blades.
This gets rid of the tears of your enemies right here.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can wipe them away.
And then going back to this, same thing. You'll actually hit your reverse. Now it does not automatically put you in reverse. You have to hold the button down and actually hit your downshift paddle, and that will get the car into reverse. You'll be able to move it. And then same thing when you want to go back into first gear, then you'll hold the neutral and your command for the pedal. One thing we will show you that's actually kind of different. A normal Huracan is a DCT transmission, okay? This is a sequential gearbox. A DCT transmission, you just get in the car, hit it, and you start going. This car actually has a clutch pedal. The clutch pedal is only used when you're first starting off in first gear or in reverse, basically moving the car in slow speeds and engaging. After that, then you're just hitting paddles until you get to a stop, and then you depress the clutch pedal again. Right here, this is going to be your ABS. So the first couple modes that you're going to have in here are actually for, what do you think?
For a total ABS business.
Yes, but here's a fun fact. Depending on what number it is, low numbers are actually on ABS are for if you're running slicks, and the higher the number, the higher the bias and what it wants to do. So if you're on 1, that's like I'm here to party.
That's party mode?
That is party mode.
So we're just super gluing it to that.
Yeah. So, and then the higher that you end up going, once you actually get, I think it's 7, I think it's 6 or 7, actually goes to the other set. So if you're in the rain or doing something else, it changes. This one is actually for your traction control. This one doesn't actually have a difference based on what kind of tires you're using. This is just kind of party mode and let's go in
Sideways.
between. Yeah. Pit. Now this, you'll have to actually be going below a certain speed, otherwise it won't engage. But as you are going into pit lane, exiting pit lane, you'll actually keep this depressed. And what this allows you to do is keep the pedal, the gas pedal, floored, and it's kind of like a rev limiter. It will keep the car only at a certain speed. It'll kind of balance it, and if you notice when you hear the car, it's like da 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 da. Did I do that pretty good? That's what keeps the car from moving. So if you ever notice, there is actually pit lane speed requirements. So you can only go so fast. If you go faster than that, or if you let kind of, oops, I slipped, you will get penalized. It is a fence. They'll usually make you come back around again and force you to actually take another, another pit. Alarm.
Is it like a Viper?
It went down. Yeah, kind of like doot doot. Arms the car, door locks.
Yeah,
let somebody
get in
Please
again. Step back. This car is protected.
The page will actually toggle different modes on the actual Motec dash itself. So there's different menu screens. We'll show you some of those in a little bit, but that actually lets you toggle through the different modes. I think that's pretty much it. So this is your release to get out. So normally you would have your handle, bye-bye on that. You want to get out? You are pulling this. Now the only parts that are in this door that are the same as a stock car is your weather stripping, which is pretty much just for the air noise. You have your striker and your latch. Everything else, the power door lock actuator, the window regulator, believe it or not, there's no speakers. I put speakers in my race car, but that's just me.
So as we were talking about earlier, you can see right here, this is a clutch pedal. This just gets you from a stop to moving, or gets you able to engage first gear. I don't know if the camera can actually see from here, but you can see this is manufactured by Willwood, one of our local companies out here in California, putting parts on race cars that Lamborghini makes. As you can see, your other air jack to get this thing off the ground. Got yourself a nice little custom dead pedal. But I can tell you, if you're in this car with regular shoes on, it's going to be super cramped on there. You absolutely have to have racing shoes in. Just all of us with our shop shoes and our tennis shoes on, you quickly run out of room very quickly in here. You do have manually adjustable steering column on this thing. Everything's so new that it doesn't like to move very much, but once again, we got manual controls on that. It should make getting in and out of it a little easier. And then you do have the Motec display here, which, are we going to fire this thing up? I think so. I don't think we'd be doing you guys the service if we didn't actually fire the race car up in the shop. All right.
In a normal Huracan, your radiators, everything else are in different locations. They're actually on either side. You have condensers, you have separate fans in there.
The lights.
On a Super Trofeo car, you actually have one giant radiator that sits in the middle, and your air all goes in through the front, up through here, into the scoop and out. Now also on this car, which if you notice, a normal Super Trofeo does not have a fan installed on it. So there is no actual cooling fan. It is straight radiator and air passes through there. Now they do have as an option, which this one does have, especially if you're running in very hot weather, idling or just running in a location and you want to run it. This actually has another fan that's mounted on top that will actually draw air through and push it out. So this is not a normal feature on the race car, but this is something that gets added to it just for stationary purpose and also for hot weather. Just another thing to help kind of draw it out. Also, depending on the track, if it's a very tight track, obviously you don't have as much air going through the radiator. Going into these switches, okay? If you're wondering what these switches are. One switch for right here is actually your main power, which turns on all the accessory power in there, activates everything. This one is the do not touch. This is if the car does get into an accident and you can't manually from the inside the driver cannot access the fire switch. What this will do is you will flip this up and hit this button and it will actually charge or discharge the halon system in the car. In here, which what Mark was talking about, you have different reservoirs for this. You actually have your reservoir for the clutch, and then you also have two different reservoirs for the brake, because you actually have a separate master for the front brakes and the rear brakes. In a stock Huracan, you actually have a electric steering rack. In a race car, this actually has its own separate unit, and it's actually hydraulic. So it has a lot more, especially since the tires are so much bigger and your steering, you need that much more force to be able to turn the wheel. You now have a completely separate unit that feeds into the power steering rack to help you assist those big front wheels. That's what this guy right here is for. This is a tank that goes into basically a hydraulic pump that then feeds into the steering rack.
Car does ride on 32-way, I think, yeah, 32-way Öhlins adjustable dampeners, all four corners of the car. I think the last thing to do is show everybody how to start their 2019 Huracan Super Trofeo Evo
Collezione
de Awesomeness.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got the power switch on. We have the wheel off so that way you can get a pretty cool shot of this as well. But we got our fire in the hole here. Check out this startup screen. Bam! Squadra Corsa. That's pretty cool. So now we have to ECUs on, ignition on, that also turns on fuel pumps, all that good stuff. And here we go. Put the steering wheel back on. Okay. This is what it does when you hit the pit. It'll actually let you know. Now, fun fact, if this comes up red, it actually lets you know that you're going too fast. You'll hit this back, and then off it goes. And then what we were talking about as far as the pages, so look at the screen. So this is your standard kind of opening screen. It tells you what mode you're in. So as you change the modes, see right here where we're saying party mode on ABS? This actually lets you know that ABS is off. Gives you the warning on the top letting you know that, hey, we're not ready. Change in different modes. Traction control, as that changes on here, you can change. Now, as the different modes, different pages, now you have RPM over here, where you got water temperature, you got your speed, you got your different modes that you're in for ABS, your brake bias, battery level, you have basically your clutch tip in, throttle tip in. Same thing, this is kind of giving you more information about what's going on. Just letting you know from a data standpoint what gear you're in, what it's actually commanding and asking for. And then here gives you kind of what would be the equivalent of a check engine light screen, letting you know that everything is actually running according to how it's supposed to. Right now it's still being cold. It still hasn't, this is on because it hasn't gotten up to temperature yet. That's why you have this warning here. Still telling you this because it's not up to where it's supposed to be yet. This is why there's actually a warm-up procedure on this car that you have to go with. With us having it on right now, it's still looking for the different modes. And there you have it. Pretty freaking awesome.
Smoke them if you got them.
In case you guys didn't know, this car, as well as another car that we're going to show you on another different episode, shall be at Race Wars. So if you're not going, you probably should go. Make sure you sign up. We're going to be, as it gets a little bit closer, we're going to give you guys more information about that. But definitely, it is going to be epic, November 23rd. I don't know about you, but
dude, you are smiling like you're like a 12-year-old kid and you just slid in under the Christmas tree. And it's not even Christmas time yet.
That's better. It's too good.
You guys, smash the subscribe button, delicately press the subscribe button, lick the subscribe button, pick up some merchandise to support us. We are going to absolutely bring you guys the coolest stuff. If you like supercars, we got that. If you like race cars, we've got that. All we want from you guys to do is spread the word, get this channel out there, let everybody know. They're not gonna see content anywhere on the level that we're gonna bring to you guys.
We're only getting started.